Peace. What's happening, everybody? Listen, depression, anger, frustration, dark thoughts, those conditions are multi-layered. And those conditions impact each individual differently. The origin for your depression might not be the origin for the next person's depression. So that means the remedies will be quite different. But one thing that I can speak on is that for the most part, the solutions to those conditions do not revolve around any external factors. No material items. No people outside of self. See, that's part of the problem for a lot of people that deal with these conditions. We go run to these external things to try to hide and run from the problems that we have internally. So a lot of us get caught up in the external. We jump in these relationships. We go eat the bad foods or the comfort foods. Overindulging in sex, drugs, alcohol. We think money will solve the problems that we have internally. Not at all, not even close. At the end of the day, it's an inside job. Depression, anger, frustration, dark thoughts, it's an inside job. So the only way to solve something that's an inside job is to deal with it internally. So I see a lot of times when people start talking about a person that's dealing with depression, dark thoughts, whatever the case may be, somebody may judge their situation from the outside looking in and say, man, what are you depressed about? What are you sad about? You have X, Y, and Z. So just because a person may have something that the next person doesn't have, that person judging them feels as if they don't have the right to be depressed, angry, frustrated, or have dark thoughts. That's ignorant. Because these external things don't have anything to do with depression, anxiety, dark thoughts, anger, frustration. You can have all of the materials in the world and still be depressed and still be angry. That doesn't make you ungrateful. That just means you have some internal issues that you haven't resolved. But we live in a society where people like to cast judgments on folks without knowing the have, without even striving to know and understand the have. Listen, I could be dealing with some trauma that was passed down to me from my ancestors. That's how deep this thing can be. I may be dealing with a depression that was passed down to me from my ancestors 4 or 5 generations ago. Because, see, they didn't have the space to deal with their trauma. They didn't have the space to deal with their depression because they was out here slaving in the field. So they passed it down to their kids, and their kids weren't able to deal with it. So now I'm suffering from it. That could be the case for a lot of people. So stop judging people based on what they have and making it seem like they don't have the right to be depressed and feel some type of way. Depression, dark thoughts, it don't care anything about that. It don't care anything about how much money you have. It don't care anything about your relationship status, how many women you got. It don't care about the type of car you drive. It don't care about the type of house you living in. It don't care about how many kids you have. Depression and all of that stuff is deeper than that, man. So all of you people that possess that surface level mind, y'all need to stay away from the folks that's actually dealing with some internal issues. And y'all making the stuff seem a lot more simple than it actually is. Again, these conditions impact people differently. And there's a difference between indulging in something that may make you feel better temporarily and actually resolving these conflicts that essentially get rid of the trauma or the negative state. Some of us, we are tired of feeling good temporarily. We looking for some more long-term solutions. So we don't want to overindulge in some of this nonsense for that short-term pleasure. So some of us are fighting the good fight so long term, in the long term, we can feel much better. You know, so I don't want to continue to rant, man, because I'm going to build on this. I'm going to elaborate on this later on this week in a stream or something. But I just wanted to touch on that, man, because I know it's a lot of people that's dealing with some internal issues, and some brothers and sisters out here dealing with these issues and don't even know where they stemming from. I'm here to tell you, you could be dealing with something that didn't even begin with you. You can be dealing with some depression, some anger, some anxiety that was passed down to you. That collective consciousness is real. DNA, you was born with DNA. This is stuff that was passed down to you. So again, a lot of us, we could be suffering because our ancestors weren't able to deal with some problems, some trauma. So now we here stuck with it and we ain't understanding it. So I just want to tell people, man, keep fighting, man. Keep fighting. Keep pushing. Muscle through the depression, the anger, the frustration, the anxiety. You keep on pushing, man, you're going to come out on top. Like I said, man, I don't care what life throws at me. I'm going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? And you will too. So keep fighting, keep pushing, everybody. Peace.